And even if I think about myself, I would say my mental health is pretty good overall because not because I'm just always positive, right? I'm not. In fact, yesterday I was having a pretty bad day, but hello everybody and welcome to Vibing Out with Texony. I'm your host Texony, aka Mr. WorldVibe. And what we have here is a community to give local voices a public platform of shared ideas, knowledge, and perspectives. So we're here back for another Psych Saturdays. And I love psychology, y'all. It's something that I took in university, at York University, finished that undergraduate program and really enjoyed it. And I'm so passionate and honored to come here and tell you guys some psychological information that, you can learn. And I think it's important because there's a lot of pop psychology. Pop psychology is just popular psychology, things that people believe from headlines, from, misconceptions. And so I really want to do in this episode a favor. I want to do justice to the psychology field and explain some myths. Okay, so I'm honored. I'm glad that y'all came here to this episode to get this knowledge. So let's do that. And this is the first episode I'm releasing in May, and we only have 2 more months of season 2. So hope you're enjoying the episodes. Go back, check out the other Psych Saturdays. We've been doing it since season 1, back April 2020. So there's so many other Psych Saturdays you can check out. And if it's your first time here, hello, welcome to the channel. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. So make sure you subscribe wherever you're watching. If you're on YouTube, give this video a like. So the reason why we're doing this 3 mental health myths is because it's May. And May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So I really kind of want to, honor that it is this month. And like I said, let's talk about some myths because there's so many, especially in the mental health field and mental health area. Even though it's growing and the people are learning so much about it, I think there's still things we could clear up. So I want to go there. I want to talk about 3 myths. Hopefully you know them. Hopefully you've heard of them. And let's see if I can change up some of the things in your head. The first myth here that we got to talk about, let's get it out of the way. Mental health conditions, mental health problems are uncommon. So they're not that, they're kind of rare, like they don't happen all the time. That's the myth. And is that myth true? No, that's false. They are very common. Let's I have some stats, I have some research here I want to refer to. And so according to WHO, the World Health Organization, 1 in 4 people in the world will be affected by mental or neurological disorders at some point of their lives. That's crazy, 1 in 4. And according to the CMHA, the Canadian Mental Health Association, by age 40, about 50% of the population will have or will have had a mental health condition. So that's how, prevalent it is. And especially given that COVID's been going on for over a year now, that's just heightened people's fear, stress, anxiety, depression. These things have only increased. So it's fair to say that mental health problems are not uncommon. They're actually more common. But you know what? I wanted to actually take a step back and say, what is mental health in the first place? Like, if I say, how is your mental health, right? That's such a vague term. In of itself, mental health is not really positive or negative thing. It's just health. It's just a version of your health, right? So I want to kind of take a step back and let's think about what mental health really even means. I'm curious about if we've even given it a definition in our own minds. So again, according to the World Health Organization, concepts of mental health include somebody's subjective well-being. So how do you feel according to yourself, right? Your self-efficacy, autonomy, competence, so how well you function in the world, basically. The ability to recognize one's own intellectual and emotional potential. So these are tied into your intelligence, your emotional intelligence. These all go into your mental health. It's also been defined as a state of well-being where individuals can recognize their abilities, right? So kind of like a self-awareness almost, and be able to cope with the normal stresses of life, work, and productivity, and make a contribution to their communities. So mental health is so much bigger than just how we think of it, like you have a mental health problem, so that's your mental health. No, it can also be a good thing. You can have a positive mental health, which means these things that I mentioned are benefiting you, right? So it's important to figure out what it means to us. And even if I think about myself, I would say my mental health is pretty good overall, because not because I'm just always positive, right? I'm not. In fact, yesterday I was having a pretty bad day, but because of that, because of my positive mental health, I was able to recognize how I was feeling and react accordingly, right? I gave myself less work to do, more relaxation, a lot of self-care techniques, right? Not ways of coping negatively, but positive self-care methods to look after myself. So I was able to utilize my mental health for the better. So it's not just about being positive and being in a great state of mind. It's about recognizing, like I said, that subjective well-being. How do you feel, acknowledging it and reacting to it? So yeah, I want you to, if you're watching on YouTube, comment below, how is your mental health? Like, answer that question for me. If you're listening, reach out to me, message me, let me know what you thought about this question and what is your mental health? Like, reach out to me, let me know. Let's get a conversation going, because that's my favorite thing about this podcast, is reaching out to you guys one-on-one, getting some conversations going. So let's move on to myth 2. And it's the fact, or the notion, the thought that mental health is all in our minds, right? It's just up here. Your mental health is just here. Anything that happens to you is because of your brain. That's another myth. Yes, it is. There's a wide range of reasons why we have mental health problems, right? It's not just our genetic, our biological, or our personality traits. It's not just those things. It's also our circumstances with society and our roles in the places that we live, in the places that we function. So it's what I'm saying is it's environmental factors. That's the word I was looking for. Environmental factors. So the outside world externally creates and has a role with our mental health, right? So the way our body, our whole self interacts with the world. It's not just our mind. So it could be one of two ways. So either the world around you can affect your mental health, or your mental health can affect your body and the world outside. So it's a reverse relationship, right? Think about it like this. If you have a negative mental health condition, right? For example, what does anxiety and depression look like in the body, right? Anxiety and depression is not just worrying and fear, or depression is not just sad. It's a feeling of sadness and these kinds of things. It also shows in our physical body. So if we have it in here, it'll show, right? It shows by, this is according to healthline.com, 2 articles about what anxiety and depression look like in our body: agitation, restlessness, fatigue, irritability, tense muscles, and even changes in appetite and weight loss come with the inner mental health condition of anxiety and depression, right? So it can affect our body. And in the opposite sense, things that we do, if we eat poorly, if we choose to not sleep properly, if we choose to do substances and drugs and have addictions, this can go into our mind, this can affect our mental health, and then, cause these mental health conditions. So it's things that we choose to do to our body, the way the world affects our body, and the other way around, that we can have mental health conditions, right? So what I'm saying is, it's not just the mind, it's our body, it's the world, it's the environmental factors that can influence our mental health. So I hope that made sense. Hope that kind of broke that myth down for y'all. And I just want to add on, if you're enjoying this episode, if you're enjoying the fact that our mind and body are related, you'd really love my new ebook called How to Vibe Out, because I talk about 2 sections of the human, the mind and the body. I talk about them separately in each sections, and I go into details about how we can improve our mind and how we can improve our body. So the ideas in this book will only increase your mental health because you'll learn about things about the mind, things about the body, and you'll learn ways of growing and uplifting those parts of you. So if you're interested in these ideas, you'd love the book, check it out. The link's in the description of this podcast. And yeah, I really hope you'll enjoy it. The last myth here is not so much about like negative mental health conditions. Like I said, mental health is just the health of your brain, really, right? And so this one is more about your brain in specific. And it's something that hopefully can give you a glimmer of hope as we end this podcast. It's the fact that your brain can't grow new cells. That's the myth, right? We think that, once we turn around, 25, once our brain stops growing, people think that if you kill your brain cells, your neurons, then they're gone forever and you just lose them and you'll never grow more brain cells. Now that's actually proven false, at least in one area of the brain so far, and that's the hippocampus, which is the part of the brain that regulates everything from learning and remembering to regulating our eating and other biological functions. And I think researchers believe why we grow new cells in just the hippocampus is because of the fact that the hippocampus is responsible for us learning. So because we as humans live for so long compared to other animals, our brain needs to be remembering and learning things as we grow, even into old age. So it's important for us to be able to learn new things. So we need to form new connections, and that's how we get neurons that create new neurons. Neurogenesis is because the hippocampus does not just have dead cells. It always makes new neurons, new connections. And so that's the part of the brain that does grow new cells. And so, yeah, those are the 3 myths. There's so many myths in psychology. I just want to break down a few mental health related. If you enjoyed this, I can do another podcast on these myths. I know of so many. There's actually one episode I made all the way back in season 1 called Money versus Happiness, which is a myth. And we broke it down and talked about, is money the key to happiness? More money, more happiness? That was a Psych Saturdays, and you'll be surprised by the answer in that one. So check out that episode. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for more podcasts, weekly drops of episodes, and join the Instagram community. Go follow me at VibingOutWT if you haven't already. That's where I drop daily content. And we have so much more coming for this community, guys. So much is in the works. Trust me, like this month has been, it's a lot of work and planning for me. I have a lot going on, but I'm very excited for where we're going. And so again, I'm just appreciative that you're here. Thank you. And yeah, until then, have a good day. Keep vibing out. This has been Vibing Out with Texony. I'm your host, Texony, aka Mr. WorldVibe, and I'm signing out. Peace.